What is good, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? It's your boy Foxy. Welcome back to the Fox's Den. Getting into another reaction. It's a beautiful Monday. Had a great time last night. Good old Super Bowl. It was a great game. Unfortunately, my team lost. I'm a Philadelphia fan. I was hoping for the best, but we fell short. And it's a damn shame. God damn it. Fucking Patty Mahomes. But regardless, the game was good as fuck. Like, it was fun to watch. It was close. Neck and neck the whole time. Halftime performance was great. Shout out Rihanna. She did an amazing job. The choreography and everything was great. Announced her second kid by going out on stage and whatnot. She's pregnant with her second child. I mean, I think it was a great Super Bowl all around. Besides my team not winning, obviously, you know, that's my biased opinion just because I like the Eagles. But other than that, the Super Bowl was great. I had a great time. Had some good drinks around some good people. Watched the game. Had a good time. And yeah, it was fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed your time as well with the Super Bowl and your friends and family if you watched it with other people or just watched it on your own. Regardless, I thought it was really good. But today is a new day. We're moving the fuck on. That's in the past. Today is Monday. We're getting into Vinland Saga episode 6 of season 2. Very, very excited for this episode. Last episode, we actually get to, you know, kind of go away from Thorfinn and Einar for a little bit, and we kind of saw Canut's ascension to the throne over the past couple years through the time skip or like time gap of season 1 ending to season 2. So we even got like a little bit of a flashback to that last scene with Ashlad, Canut's father, him cutting his head off, Canute witnessing the whole thing, and then basically how he ascended to the throne and taking out his rivals in the years to come, and up until the second season starts. So I'm assuming, since Omar has already, you know, said like, oh, I want to join Canute's army, like this is what I want to do, I'm going to be a warrior. Canute is already king right now in the present time where Thorfinn and Einar are on this farm. Canute's already king, and that's what we saw at the end of the episode. But we got like the kind of like the quick recap or backstory of how he did that. And basically Canute convinced the vassal to the other king that was claiming the throne. He was a landowner, or basically the, I don't know what you would call it, person that was in charge of Mercia, I guess. And Canute convinced him to basically be on Canute's side and, you know, kind of find a way to take out the other king, which was by poison, obviously. As we saw in the first, like, I guess, couple minutes of that episode, there was an attempt on his life, but it failed, and the dog actually ended up getting poisoned, which was so sad. Like, of course, they gotta show that. Like, really? But once Canute finally convinced him, like, yo, I could really turn this place to ash if you wanted to. Like, I'm giving you the right decision to make. It's all up to you to make it. Like, he didn't give him any, like, chance to refuse him. Like, he completely showed him, you do not want to fucking refuse me, bro. This is a good decision, the smart choice. And sure enough, that's what he does. And then ends up taking out his rival that was also trying to claim the throne. I think his name was Ethrud or some shit like that. Take him out, and then he had a son, so his son ascended to be able to, you know, start claiming the throne and all of his followers. And only 7 months later, he was taken out the same way. And so finally, in the year 1018, Canute finally becomes king. And I mean, bro, he handled that shit swiftly. As that conversation between Thorkel and one of Thorkel's buddies or soldiers or whatever, the guy was like, you know, everybody praised Canute's father, you know, Schwinn, for gaining control of England in like 10 years, which is like, you know, record time apparently. Well, now that shit was fucking blown out the water by Canute. My man's got the throne and, you know, got control in less than 3 years, which is fucking crazy. This goes to show how much he's matured and how smart he really is too. And he really looks like a fucking man now too, bro. Like he when we first got introduced to his character in season 1, like he was a very pretty boy and didn't know much about fighting and wasn't exposed to much violence because of how sheltered he was under his father, but also Ragnar. And then again, his personality leaned more towards creative and artistic things. Like, for example, like he cooked a meal for his father, and his father fucking reprimanded him for it because he's like, what the fuck are you doing? This is slave work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't just be happy that your kid made a meal for you. Like, that's fucking sad. But all those things, and then kind of being exposed to the violence and you know, traveling with Thorkel and Ashlad and all of them, kind of propelled his maturity to a new level. And as we can see, it fucking worked out for the best because he literally had no, like, he has no mercy. Like, whenever he was walking by some of his soldiers and they were pillaging and shit, like, that's a normal thing of war, right? Like, the spoils of war and shit. But he's trying to break those customs. So he was like, I thought I forbade that. Oh, okay, wrap up all those motherfuckers that were doing that shit, behead them, put their heads up on spikes for display, just so they know it was good. And it's like, damn, bro, like, bro, he's really trying to, you know, change shit, and he's not afraid. You know, I mean, he seems like a very good leader. That's what I'm talking about. He's matured a lot, and just seeing his ascension to the throne was really, really cool to see. So that was all of last episode. So I'd be curious to see if we get into more of Thorfinn and Einar. And like I said, I thought, you know, I'm thinking maybe there might be a time skip at some point. I don't know when it's coming, but I keep on saying this because it's only 2 people cutting down these trees, so I'm assuming they're gonna get like a little bit of a time skip, so it kind of gets us to pretty close to where they're, you know, they're done, or they get pretty close to their price range where they can buy their freedom back, because obviously it's going to take a long time. I mean, if it was real time, episode by episode of them just cutting down trees, it'd be the whole fucking season. So I think there's going to be a time skip at some point. I don't know exactly when, but nonetheless, I'm very excited to get into this and hopefully get back to Thorfinn and Einar and see what they've been up to. So without further ado, let's get in the episode. If you guys enjoyed the reaction, please leave a like down below, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when the next one's dropping. Let's get into it. Episode 6, Vinland Saga. I like how a lot of these episodes, they go ahead and get the opening out of the way, like, right away. I'm like, bet, yeah, give me this screen time, baby. Blue ass sky, bro. No clouds at first, bro. I thought that was a blue screen. I was about to be like, what the fuck? The hell's going on with my computer? This episode is called We Need a Horse. Oh, look at this. Look at this man's, bro. He fucking jacked now, baby. They're trying to get this tree stump out. God damn. Einar's me at the gym, bro. Ah! Oh, get this shit up. Yeah, look at those roots, bro. That shit is deep. They really working their asses off, though, bro. God damn. I'm curious to see if I'm right, though. I can't really tell yet if this has been like a good amount of time since we've last seen them. I mean, it kind of looks like it because they're fucking jacked as fuck. Oh, and just because he was a former slave, they still don't respect him at all because he used to be a slave. Like, you're such an asshole, bro. Oh, here we fucking go. See, like, Einar's like, he's so sick of this, he's like, I'm just ignoring this motherfucker. Like, you're just so annoying. It's funny because they came and got a horse and they're like, oh yeah, sure, go ahead, take it. Like, no worries. It's not like they're gonna fucking ruin the horse, bro. Yeah, Einar is determined to get his freedom back, but Thorfinn really could give 2 fucks, bro. Isn't this that guy that is like the... Is he like the father of the snake or something? Because I remember the snake like chilling with this dude, I think. They couldn't believe it at first. They're like, hey, well, what? This dude's got a horse? Dare. Oh, fuck, dude. So they're getting, you know, tasked with another job by this guy, in return getting the horse, and then that will help them finish their other job quicker. At least that's the hope. Oh, for sure he is. I mean, he's old as fuck. He can't get all this work done on his own like that fast, like you guys can, because you guys are still young. I swear this is the fucking this Gramps is like the guy that we saw the snake with. Like the snake woke up in this house and he was like, "J-Child, where's the food?" And he was like, "You can make it yourself, bitch." So even more work, basically. But it's gonna allow them to be able to get more and more done. Like, see, look, this is getting done even faster. Look, you got 3 stumps, easy, done. Einar is souped. My man's motivated as hell now, bro. He gonna get these chores done like it's nothing. Getting that work done, baby. Let's go. Thorfinn's gonna find his meaning and like need and like want to live again through Einar, because Einar is so driven to get his freedom back. Even though Thorfinn isn't, like, he's gonna learn how to like be a human again and like have goals again through Einar. Hell no! Yeah, like I said, he's been on a farm before, so at least he knows what he's doing. Bro, why y'all always looking for fucking trouble? Oh, okay, so he's the father of the farmer that hired or bought them. That's what I thought. And that man was nice enough to lend us a horse, bruh. Y'all bitch ass motherfuckers couldn't lend us a horse. You're damn right. Farming is quite the fulfilling task to do as well. It's like even more fulfilling than cooking. I love cooking, and that's fulfilling in itself. Learning a recipe, actually practicing how to make it if it doesn't come out how you want it the first time, and eating that food. It's fulfilling. Farming is even more so because you're growing that food. And I don't think Thorfinn's ever really had a fulfilling, like, good feeling task like that before. So he's like, wow, we've really turned this old wasteland into this crop-filled, like, farm. Yeah, now he's learning about it. He's learning about technology now too. Technology other than weapons, you know what I'm saying? Gonna get an actual good meal for once. Classic stubborn old man, you know what I'm saying, or old person. They're not gonna change. Teaching an old dog new tricks, like, it's not gonna work. He slumped right here too. They run into him again. Yeah, it's classic old people, bro. They're like, nah, I'm gonna keep doing what the fuck I'm doing, brother. You can't tell me what to do. Ohio. It's fucking like evening. That's like it's dinner time.
大の男が働きもせずによくも堂々と飯が食えるもんじゃな。若い女が盗まれないように警備してんじゃん。
Yeah? Okay. Yeah, let me know.
口の減らんやつじゃ。小言の減らんじじいだ。食え食え。遠慮するような飯じゃねえ。お前が言うな。
Critiquing his cooking too.
働いたものはその分食うてもよい。
Nice ass meal.
泥棒に盗まれる分とお前らの食いぶちどっこいどっこいじゃろうが。この老いぼれはカチンとくるね、いちいち。泥棒なんぞお前らの手を借りんでも追い払える。わしらもノルドの男じゃ。カッカすんなよ、また倒れるぞ、おじいちゃん。
He's such a smart ass, bro. It reminds me of talking to my grandparents, my grandma or my granddad.
そうだな。5、60人も兵隊がいりゃ、こんな農場一コロだぜ。な、トルフィン。
See, he knows about him, bro.
いえ、どうでしょう。その時慌てても遅えんだぜ。安心せえ。
So he's talking about if like Vikings, you know, like actual warriors ever come here to pillage this fucking place, like they could get it done with a decent amount of men, like 50 to 60 men. And if that does happen, it would actually be a shit show.
ケティルのやつは年に2回バカにならん額の効能品を王に送っておる。大きすぎる富は災いを呼ぶ。無視かよ。富を増やしては失うことを恐れ、恐れを和らげるために金を使い、また稼ぐ。ああ、やだやだ。ジジイは説教癖った。お、晴れたな。来なきゃ来ないで寂しがるくせに。とっととうせろ。
Classic teasing, bro. Like, oh man, it's funny as shit. See, yeah, this is gonna be for the better for Thorfinn. He's actually learning a lot about stuff he doesn't know about, farming, human relationships too, because he hasn't really given a fuck about that in fucking forever. Like, this is good for him, bro, to give him some perspective. And like I said, he's gonna find his goal or like reason or purpose for living again through this place and through Einar and like his interactions with these people. Oh, even more of a time skip. Look how much their beards grown. He has no idea what that is. Einar's taking that as like Thorfinn said, no, you're not my friend, but Thorfinn just doesn't even really know what that is anymore, bro. That's why he was surprised. That's fucking beautiful, man. We're finally friends, and it's looking like I think it's a fall season, like they were talking about, because that's when they were talking about when do you plant wheat? Oh, in the fall. So yeah, we've gotten a little bit of a time skip. It's officially fall season. They're actually planting some wheat and whatnot, and they're moving away. They're moving along quite nicely with their task and whatnot, bro. That's fucking dope, man. That was a good episode. Alrighty, guys, what another amazing episode of Vinland Saga. That was such a treat. That was like such a nice laid-back episode of them just trying to figure out their struggles through their task and their jobs on the farm. And as we can see right from the beginning, they've been trying for a long time or putting up with for a good while of not having a horse to be able to pull the stumps out, trying to do it by themselves, by hand, with whatever tools they can use to their disposal. And as you can see, they're working their bodies up. Like, they're getting strong as fuck. Like, I mean, in the first part of the episode when they were trying to get that stump up, I mean, they already look jacked as shit by, you know, with the work they've already done thus far. But then again, like, they needed a horse because it's, you know, that's not efficient. The way they were doing the work, like, sure, they don't really have the I guess, permission or whatever. That's just because, you know, everybody treats them like assholes. Or everybody's assholes and treat them fucking like shit. Because they've asked in the retainers before, like, yo, can we get a horse? And like, as you can see, they're like, no, like, fuck you, like, you're a slave, blah, blah, blah. That's where Einar said this time, he was like, oh, well, Paytar gave us permission to like get a horse. Like, what's the deal? And that's where the dude's like, oh, you mean the former slave? So that dude used to be a slave as well, just like Einar and Thorfinn, but I guess bought his freedom back or whatever. Which means Ketil is, you know, he's kind of kept this pattern the same, where he buys slaves and he allows them to buy their freedom back as long as they work on the farm and do their part. But still, the fact that you have, like, even though you buy your own freedom back, or like, at least in this time period, this is why this is so fucking sick, and like people's way of thinking is just dog shit, is because that dude Paytar, he's not a slave anymore, but just because he had that title of slave even once in his life, he's constantly looked down upon and disrespected because of that. And that's exactly what happened right there. He's like, oh, you mean the former slave? Like, I don't give a fuck about him. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, getting that permission from him didn't really help Einar or Thorfinn's cause at all, because the people they're talking to are just assholes and discriminating against slaves just because they have that title slave. Like, it's so stupid. But anyways, you know, Einar is really frustrated. Like, come on, like, we need a horse, bro. This would make our work so much more efficient. And Thorfinn's just kind of like, you know, but if we go ask the farmer for permission, aren't we just gonna get harassed more by them and whatnot? And Einar's like, bro, what's wrong with you? Don't you want to buy your freedom back? Don't you have any drive? Like, why are you so unmotivated? And that's just because, you know, Thorfinn doesn't really have a purpose, or he's pretty unbothered by most things just because of how much he's been through. And also he's kind of new to this whole farming thing as well, as we can see later through the episode. But Einar, he's very motivated. He's like, nah, like, we're lucky to even have this opportunity to be able to buy our freedom back. Most slaves, depending on who they were bought by, were just going to be fucking slave for the rest of their life until they're either tortured to death or whatever have you. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people that buy slaves, I mean, this is what I'm talking about. People are sick, bro. Human beings are sick. So the fact that they even have this opportunity, Einar is very motivated. He's like, nah, yeah, I'm going to get this shit done, and I want to get it done efficiently. I want to get it done as fast as possible because I actually do want to buy my freedom back. Like, he's very motivated to do this work. So they're walking along the road, and the old man overhears their conversation, and he's like, oh, okay, come here. I kind of get the idea of the situation that you guys are going through. Like, I understand. How about I lend y'all a horse, but for a price? When you pick it up, you do the chores. When you drop it off, you do the chores. That's because, you know, he's so old, he needs the help. He can't do it all on his own, and he can't do it as efficiently or quickly as the young dudes can. In this case, Thorfinn and Einar. So it's perfect for them because they get a horse, makes their work more efficient, and it's perfect for the old man because he gets help around the house because obviously he's old and he can't do what he used to do. Even though he's stubborn and he wants to still live his way of life. I get that. I live with my grandparents. And if you are ever around your grandparents or just old people in general, they still like to be able, even though like they're physically incapable or like they're like slower than they used to be, or you know, they're just getting older and you're worried about them, they still want to do the same thing that they're used to doing and be of some use because that's what keeps them busy and, you know, alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, it keeps their mind working and whatnot. Like my granddad, like before he passed, he always liked to do stuff in the yard, even though, like, you know, he smoked all his life. And, you know, he was lucky to live as long as he did because he had, you know, a really bad treatment or a bad spell of lung cancer when I was like 10. And we thought he was going to pass then. But he actually lived another 5 to 6 years. And that's whenever I lived with him. And, you know, I'm really thankful for that because, you know, he could have passed away like before I even got to really know him as a man, like while I was growing up to be a man, you know, like a teenager, a young man. And that's how he occupied his time. You know, he liked to be out in the yard. He liked to pull the weeds, pick up the leaves, you know, do whatever he could, plant some tomatoes, cucumbers, you know, just little shit. You know, whatever he could do. It wasn't much and it took him like all fucking day, but at least like he was able to do something that kept him occupied and he liked doing it. Even though like he'd be fucking huffing and puffing and like, you know, could barely breathe, it would take a toll on him, but he still liked to do that. Same thing with my grandmother. She was, you know, because they lived in a traditional like household lifestyle of like from like the 50s and shit. you know, so she was always the housewife, the one that does the chores, takes care of the kids, all that bullshit. You know the spiel. So she was used to cooking for everybody, doing the dinners, making us lunches to go to school, blah, 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 blah. So she was always trying to keep on doing that. But eventually I did have to start stepping up and doing that for her, just because it really got to a point where, you know, she couldn't really do it anymore. It was just taking her way too long. And she was also still just trying to do way too much. Like, the workload compared to her efficiency was just, the ratio was so off. Like, it was just so off. Like, she was trying to still do, like, because she was used to doing everything for everybody in the house. Laundry, food, cooking, you name it, like picking kids up from school, like this, like she was used to doing everything in the house. So eventually, like, it just got to the point where, like, yeah, man, like, Grandma, I'm older now, like I can do my own things. Like, I really appreciate that you're trying to help me, but I need, you know, I need to do my own stuff, because first of all, I need to learn how to do it for myself, and second of all, you can't take on this big of a task anymore. Like, it's taking way too long. Clothes are piling up in the laundry room. It's just easier and more efficient if I do my own things for myself. And then also, eventually, that's how I learned how to cook. That's how I learned how to cook, is through her, helping her in the kitchen, and then eventually taking over from her and, you know, getting it done myself, because it was way quicker. But that's what I mean by, like, old people, like, they like to keep doing what they know, and it keeps them busy, keeps their mind busy, and that, like, is fulfilling for them, because that's all they really can do. And if you take that away from them, then it's like even something, it's like, okay, what the fuck am I even here for, bro? That's when they start getting ornery and stubborn, like, oh, I wish the Lord would take me. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, I know old people, bro. I live with my grandparents, and they're a trip, bro. I love them to death, and I know they're doing well, and they're watching over me up in the holy grail. But yeah, that was kind of cool to see with the old man, because it was kind of making me think about my grandparents. But as we saw, he let them borrow the horse. Their work is way more efficient. They're actually getting the stumps out of the ground, and that allows them to, you know, till the soil and get the soil ready for be able to plant in whenever they need to start planting wheat. So everything's working out through that getting that horse. It makes our work way more efficient, and it's all thanks to the old man, who we find out later in the episode is the original master, which is Ketel's dad. So Ketel's very worried about him, and it's the same sort of thing with, like, most, like, families. Like, they're very, you know, obviously old people are stubborn, but, like, you gotta kind of, like, put up with it, because, you know, they're older than you, bro. Respect your elders. Like, you're gonna argue and argue and argue and argue and argue and argue. Like, just, like, deal with it, bro. He wants to live his life, and he said it himself, he wants to die on his farm, and he's got help right now. At least he's got the slaves, you know, helping out, and it works out for them. Like, even though Ketel at the end, he was like, you don't get to do what you want, like, these are my slaves, and it's like, okay, I guess that makes sense. But then again, they're getting something good out of it. Like, they're getting the horse that makes their work more efficient, which in turn makes your farm and the job that you gave them more efficient and done more quickly. So it all works out, you know what I'm saying? But Ketel, you know, he's just looking after his pops, and he's worried about him, and, you know, he's like, oh, you don't need to be living alone anymore. But Snake is always there half the time anyway, and now Thorfinn and Einar are there to take care of most of the chores, so it works out for him. He's doing fine. I'm sure he's gonna be all right, and you know, hopefully he doesn't keel over before Thorfinn and Einar are done with their work on the farm. You know what I'm saying? That would be really nice if he sticks around, so they're still able to get this work done as efficiently, because if he passes on, then maybe, like, you know, someone takes over his property, his horses, that sells them to somebody else, and then the retainers get it, and then they're assholes, and they're not going to let them use it anymore. Like, I could see some fuck shit like that happening, but it looks like we're moving at a pretty good pace. And like I said, you know, slowly but surely, time is skipping a little bit here and there. Not huge time skips, like just from one to the next. Like, that's what I thought at first. It would just be like one big time skip. But we're getting some here to there. So like this episode, we saw them get the horse, make their work more efficient, till the ground. And then right at the end of the episode, we see even more time passed to the fall, which is what they were talking about earlier in the episode, where Einar's like, wow, Thorfinn, you really don't know anything about farming. Like, it's almost like you're a grown baby. You know what I'm saying? Because all he's known is the battlefield since a young, you know, 6-year-old kid. And then also in his homeland in Iceland, where he was born with his family and villagers, they didn't farm there because it was too fucking cold. You can't farm in that type of environment. So they relied mainly on, I guess on like ice fishing and meat. I'm assuming, I guess. I don't know. am not sure on that, but regardless, you know, Thorfinn's learning a lot on this farm and this environment in general because it's completely different from what he's used to living. He's not on a battlefield anymore. He's learning about a farm. He's learning how to farm, how to till the ground, how to do this, how to do that, all through Einar and through the other people around him, like all the interactions that he has, which is some like petty arguments, but some people are really nice, like the old man and Kethel in general, because he's the one that bought them and is giving them this opportunity. So I feel like this is really good for Thorfinn because he's getting more perspective and he's going to be able to learn how to get like a purpose again, or just, you know, a drive again to live. And there's more to it than just killing and violence. And he's learning that right now because he's learning how to farm. He's seeing the technology that helps people farm. So he's learning about more technology other than just weapons that are used to kill people. I mean, this is really good for him. So I'm really glad we're getting to see this. And I'm curious to see how much more time, you know, skips here and there, because we're only on the 6th episode and there's 24 apparently. So, you know, it seems like we're going to keep moving at this kind of like quick pace here and there, and eventually get to the point where they are able to buy their freedom back, because they're already planting some crops, and they're just going to keep this pattern up where they cut down trees, get the stumps up, till the ground, get the soil ready, plant, and then harvest, all that shit, you know what I'm saying? So it's really cool to see that they're actually making great progress, and they're finding their own way, and Einar's very motivated, and that motivation and drive is going to be instilled in Thorfinn, and he's going to kind of find his own purpose through this environment and these interactions with Einar, and, you know, just living a kind of decent life away from war, you know what I'm saying? Even though they're slaves. And Einar is a great influence for that reason, because Einar has a very big drive and motivation, as we can see, and that needs to be passed down on Thorfinn. And at the end right there, Einar was like, yeah, we're friends. And then Thorfinn's like, friends? And Einar took it as like, oh, we're not friends? What the fuck, bro? What the hell, bro? But Thorfinn just hasn't heard that in so long. He doesn't even really know. Like, he didn't, at first glance, he didn't remember what that word even meant, which is fucking sad. But then again, it's also very beautiful, because Einar's like, yeah, we're friends. And then Thorfinn starts to think it over. It's like, you know what? Yeah, we are friends. And that's how the episode ends. And it's just so cool to see this. What I'm talking about. This is going to be really good for Thorfinn, man. This is going to be really, really good. I'm excited to see where this goes after the farm, though. I don't know what's going to happen there. Like, maybe, just maybe, they somehow end up working for Snake, because obviously they're getting great physical conditioning by doing this work. I mean, they're fucking jacked as shit right now, cutting down trees, lifting the trees, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is hard work, and it's getting your body in great shape. So I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow start working for the Snake or something, because Snake is obviously very aware of Thorfinn's background, even though they haven't talked about it at all. Just from that one exchange of blocking Snake's attack, Snake knows what the fuck is good with him. That's why whenever he was giving that example to the old man, when they were kind of having a lecture moment argument in his house while they were eating, he was saying, like, you know, we're here to protect, like, we actually do, like, protect this land, and, like, we're bodyguards, and this is what we do. We patrol every night, and that's why he sleeps, like, practically all fucking day. But there are thieves that try to take stuff, like, you know, unharvested wheat or pigs, stuff like that. And so that's what they're there for, is to protect that kind of stuff. And obviously he keeps on arguing with the old man back and forth, like, oh, we can take care of the thieves ourselves, blah, blah, blah. But Snake brought up a good point. If there was someone that's actually capable of leading a group of men, like 50 to 60 men, and say these people are like actual fucking warriors, like actual Vikings, you know, that Thorfinn's used to being around, and they came to attack this place, that's about all it would take. Good 50, 60 men, and they would fucking take all of this shit like it was nothing, or pillage all of it, whatever. It would be just chaos. And so that's another reason why they're there for, is because you never know if that, like, sure, the old man was saying, like, oh, that would never happen, they don't ever come to this fucking land, like, blah 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 blah. But you never know. If it does happen, what the fuck are y'all gonna do if you don't have the bodyguards? So I'm interested in that he actually said that and brought that up, because that might be like some foreshadowing that something like that happens, where this farm gets attacked, and then that's where Thorfinn and maybe even Einar too step it the fuck up and protect the farm along with the bodyguards and Snake and whatnot. And then that's how they start working with Snake or something. And then I don't know, maybe they stay here or they move on to some other place and start following Snake. I'm just curious to see what they're going to do once they get their freedom back, which I feel like isn't going to take the whole season. I feel like with the pacing and like this couple time skips we're getting here and there, I feel like we're going to get to that fairly quickly. You know, maybe it's like this first core of the season. So like maybe like around like episode 12, 13, we kind of get to that freedom point and then they figure out what they want to do after that. Which I'm very excited to see because I'm loving this so far. Like I'm loving seeing Thorfinn like kind of really self-reflect on what he's been through and also learn how to be like a normal human being, even though he's a slave right now, but like a normal human being, and learn farming and just like natural things about living life and taking care of yourself, being able to survive without killing people, which is the big thing. So I'm enjoying it thoroughly, even though it's not as action-packed and there's not fucking, you know, battles everywhere and we're not seeing him go crazy. I'm sure we'll get to that at some point, but it's better that he learns this now because he's going to have a different perspective on killing people if he has to, like more of like a self-defense tactic, or, you know, because before, like, he didn't give a fuck, bro. He was with Vikings. That's what they do. They pillage, kill. He killed so many innocent people, as he's already told Anyar before. He knows it himself. But if it comes down to, I'm sure like we'll get back into some point where he does get into the like action-packed stuff, but he has more of like a just cause that he wants to do it for. Like he wants to protect people from stupid violence, like, you know, some sort of other goal to use his strength for, other than just taking advantage of people or killing innocent people, which is what he's already known for being on the battlefield whenever he was a young man, or as he was growing up. So with this perspective and gaining these kind of regular human skills in this farm and interacting with people like Einar, this is going to be really good for him, and I can't wait to see him grow and see what he takes out of this and see what purpose he actually gains, because I think it's really good for him. But yeah, another amazing episode. That was so good. I love Vinland Saga, man. Like, this second season has been great so far, and I'm enjoying every second of it. I hope you guys are too. If you guys enjoyed the reaction, please leave a like down below, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when the next one's dropping. I'll see you tomorrow for My Hero. You be ready for that. Y'all be good. Deuces.